Did you know that Muslim women are not supposed to change our last names after marriage, and that the reasons are rooted in feminism and women's rights? I'm Misha Yusuf, the author of an upcoming book about Islam from Little Brown. So I've been thinking about this since I was a little girl, and my mom was getting her PhD, and one of her professors didn't change her last name. When my mom asked her why, she said, "I'm not a herd of cattle changing my name when I transfer from man to man." In Islam, a person's name connects them to their work, their character, their lineage, their reputation, and their legal assets. The Quran literally instructs men and women, call them by their father's names in 33:5. This is the case so that men and women's lineage and property rights and inheritance rights are protected. Marriage is seen as an equal partnership between two equals, man and woman. If the man's not changing his last name, why would the woman? And this has been the case since Prophet Muhammad's time, 1400 years ago. None of his wives changed their names. Aisha bint Abu Bakr, Khadija bint Khalid. This was obviously not the case in Europe. In medieval Europe, women legally became their husband's property, their inheritance, their assets, their name, their body, all transferred over. This was a practice called coverture, and it meant a woman could not legally own property, had no legal rights to her children, and could not sue anyone. In the United States, the supposedly progressive United States, the practice of coverture wasn't even challenged until 1839, when certain states started to pass laws to give women property rights. In the very liberal state of California, coverture wasn't abolished until 1954. And as late as the 1990s, elements of coverture, like marital, existed in parts of the United States. How progressive is that? Islam, on the other hand, challenged coverture and gave women all of these rights 1400 years ago. Women were allowed to divorce and remarry so they could avoid the logistical hurdle of changing their names over and over again. The same in the event of death. Also, if women were in abusive marriages, let's say, they weren't also financially and legally dependent on their husbands, and they could be financially and legally independent enough to leave or to challenge their partner in court. In that case, they still had rights over their children. Now, why is this important? Because something as simple as religiously or state-mandated name changes can turn dystopian very quickly. Just think of Handmaid's Tale and how women's rights slowly were handed over to men. Eventually, they had no identity of their own. They were literally known as of a man, literally of Fred. That's the dystopia that Islam protects against. That's why women keep their last names, their identities, and their freedom, even when they're married.